Hello, welcome to the Wild Rose Healing Arts Tarot and Stars Studio. We are going to look at astrology and pull some cards. I am Otis Bell, your astrologer today, and your reader on the moment, on the dial. We travel the medicine wheel together, and I narrate the stories as we travel that wheel. What I mean by the medicine wheel is the one marked on a calendar that does end and begin at different points, you could say. Some on the Gregorian calendar, we say on New Year's, on the first of what is now our calendar of every year, which is a solar cycle of around 365 days. We are on this spot on that wheel. There is a sliver of the pie at every day. Every day, which is a little mini solar cycle in the big solar cycle. And each time we have the moon complete its little cycle, it's a moonth. We track the moonths, we track the solars, we track the suns and moons to try to weave ourselves whole, because we come here broken and shattered, and we are finding out on a journey of what matters, how to be whole, and in that remembering we become and are and exist and love and create. I want to draw attention to some stars today that are of significance. There's a million things you could be thinking about, but I tell you every day, you know what's the most important is to breathe with the land. And so wherever you start with the stars, just start with the land and the spirits where you are, of the natural world, all the worlds, your ancestral worlds. Breathe with your body and receive all the world's breathing life into you, weaving you, remembering you, just in case you forget or get too far away. It reaches in to claim you, grab you, give you life. This breath from the earth and ancestors. We try so hard to be separate in a million ways. Mostly worrying about our separateness is how we do it, which takes us away. But the breath keeps reaching. So returning there, that is the most important place when you're going to reach for the stars. Start with the earth and the breath of the heavens that is made in that space between. And we're here to navigate the space between. I am grateful to be alive in this time, even though it's hard, it's challenging, because we get to invent a lot. And personally, I was marked by stars of invention. Real Pisces Aquarian ones, and then they come out like an Aries. So that's like spring and beginning again. I live in the cusp of renewal and recovery, and I've had to get there through a lot of Piscean Aquarian falls. Those are the ones at the end that fall and they end things, and it's just like maybe ruin or losing it all. There's a million ways I've done that. Some good, some challenging, all serving a recovery project, a renewal energy. It's amazing what comes out when you bridge darkest dark with dawn. That's a bit where I live. Zero to hero journey for sure, and just every moment. That's why I'm here to kind of describe the stars to you, in as much as I can interpret them that's relevant for the modern age, and for hopefully you can relate. Perhaps there's some undoing in the waters upon you, as you may have related to my story as I introduce myself, because I am full of some big waters. We are full of big waters in the sky today in October 2025, going into November 2025. And as we look at the month of Movember, might grow out a mustache. I really celebrate all of the fallen and the gates to pleasure that also come at that gate of death and loss and transformation of the body into spirit. And so we stand at that gate with spirit closed. And in November, we're going to see a lot of spirit up close. Scorpio sun is going to walk through Scorpio Mercury for a bit in the beginning of the month. We're going to have some Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, which really tends to, Lilith. Lilith. The Black Moon Lilith is this spot where the moon is the furthest away from the earth. This is the part that's the most out of your consciousness. That deepest, darkest desire. Especially the desire, because Lilith held on to theirs. But Lilith that returns home is the Black Moon Lilith. It's that blind spot that we all have, that darkest, farthest apart from your knowing in your subconscious, but that holds a key to your true desire, the deepest one, the most hidden one, the one that held on to pleasure there. So that's in Scorpio next to Mars, and we do have Mercury real close to it, but also hopping over into the Sag area. So we can maybe make something of this. Maybe there's a whole religion born out of that dark, lost, deep desire that each of us has. There's really been Mercury being able to describe those things. Shadows may have been emerging. They may have been coming around from hidden places. It could be coming through your waters. You know, we're mostly made of water. We've got also in this scenario Pisces with Saturn, and Neptune's gone back in that retrograde for a few months till January. So this is going to be a review of the last 12 years or so. 13 years. This started in 2011. The Pisces and Neptune started initiating us in the deeper collective subconscious for this long period of time. This process of undoing and unraveling and dissolution. We've all been wondering spiritually in a very deep way, in an existential way, are we at the end? Are we having a spiritual awakening? What is happening on a spiritual level that matters? Because we're getting to some points that are really bringing those questions up. So, Saturn is now in Pisces with the north node of the moon, which is its trajectory, our collective evolution. As we evolve around each moon, we are all evolving in an elliptic that points somewhere, and it's pointing to Pisces, and Saturn there marking structure, new forms. So as much as the last 12 years or so, 13, 14, have been in this Neptune placement with Pisces, dissolving deeply all our existential thoughts and subconscious beliefs. Do you know they're just healing? And this is the end, these last few months. It's like a review here. You might have a lot of feelings of all of the horrible, twisted heartbreak initiations, the things that made you sad, that destroyed you, where you lost everything emotionally, that challenged you so much. But there's a vision there of recovery and renewal that only you know, and that's the knowing we're gleaning. Because the waters want to know the deep truth. That's why we're going through this. And you know, another water in here, on the triangle, they're all trining each other, as the waters do. Each element trines the other elements, other signs with the elements like them. They're all friends, right? Like the three muses, these three waters. Jupiter's in Cancer. Wow, the crybaby has a lot of energy there. Jupiter, the biggest fireball in the sky, has decided to jump in the ocean and bring about all the Cancerian feelings. We feel those in the moon of us, in the ocean of us. Oh, and our young one, our baby that needs holding, our one that needs to hold a baby, one that needs to care and nurture. We need care. I believe we're seeing a big spiritual transformation. I call it Team Purple because we've had so much polarity of red and blue, various kinds. And purple, of course, which you get when they come together. And of course, one of my favorite iconic heroes of purple land is Prince in the city of Minneapolis, right in the middle of the U.S., that goes purple on his birthday. I really feel that we're going purple. That's the point of all this water. And you can see that. A lot of Republicans that thought they would have been lifers are really seeing the right wing for what it is, because it's really revealing itself. It's not hiding anymore. It's way out in the open. All the corruption that's always been there, back through slavery and internment camps and residential schools and on and on and on and on. The Holocaust, everything justified by some kind of service to a god, which is supposed to be loving. Everybody's waking up to it. So everybody's going purple. I love it. You know, Mars in Scorpio is hard. You know, Mars co-rules Scorpio. And as our sun is in that sign, we're going to have fights come up, subconscious desires, things that really to get you going. It's a sign of sexuality and arousal. We may have a fun, sexy time at Halloween with all these waters. Extra spiritual time. It might spark some arguments. There might be huge intensity to it. Feelings about old arguments and dramas and traumas, because these waters hold the traumas in the subconscious, right? The feelings. These are going to be awake. Maybe you'll feel them in your body. You might feel underwater. You might feel overwhelmed, but there's something coming to balance emotionally in there where we get to really have a last hurrah in these next few months, the end of the year here, reviewing how we've felt. as we've transformed in this last period of time. And as the waters reform us, Uranus, the planet of change and liberation, revolution, has been in Taurus for a good decade. It's going back into Gemini, where it's going to station for years now, working out new social systems. It's been changing and liberating our systems of value, our materialism. It's going into Gemini, this huge innovative place. The internet, the social sphere, social media, the power of the people and friends and community networks. The power of grassroots is what Gemini is. So Uranus and the liberation is getting moved now to bring about the grassroots liberation movement. We're going to be doing that for years, so this is wonderful. I don't doubt that you're feeling losses that are so deep and that go way back, but I do know that it's feeding a revolutionary spirit and that each one of us is finding a belonging from all of this deep diving in the revolution and evolution of the day. And we do, through our loss and our grief, land in a particular belonging through our survivor knowledge, which is what we were challenged by and survived. We did come through, and it did shape us. It gave form to it. That's what we're gleaning now. We're noticing and becoming. What's really working upon us is this kind of becoming through an undoing, through a dissolution. So lean into the spiritual side. How do you pray? That edge you get when you try to stretch somewhere and you hit the edge and you can stay there and you can try to work it out and let it go. There's a million ways you can be with the discomfort. Breathe. There's so many ways at edges. You're just staying with the discomfort, and there's a growth, there's a relaxation, there's an undoing, and there's a new form that holds more space for movement, growth, new things. That's what we're doing. Earlier this year, Aquarius took over rule of the underworld, Pluto, for 20 years. So we're in a landscape where fundamentally underneath all of it, we're all getting liberated. We're finding alignment. We're actually becoming more honest and more aligned with our truth and our authentic self. Each one of us, and collectively. That's why I say our, and I'm talking about a personal experience. That's the experience the Aquarius straddles. We're all in our subconscious realizing we are not separate. We are woven. We're acting like that. That's true. We're way more unified, growing only so. And, some of the the governments are unifying us in weird new ways, and also the reactions to that are unifying us in weird ways, and the economies of the internet. We have a sanctuary that we are forming, and it's of air. It's of the social nature, the webs. And as we grieve into the waters and feel it all, there's a vision that we're getting that emerged. It's about liberation. Deeply, each of us is going to embody that, and we will embody the waters in a way where we'll see where we belong and who we are. Nearly conjunct Neptune. It's so close I wanted to say it's conjunct, but in Aries instead of Pisces, right on the other side of that cusp from Saturn is Neptune. That's going to hold us for a while, for some years. Neptune and Aries is going to take the baton of all these waters that we're in here in this last deluge and swill, dreaming, gleaning the dreamings of the feelings, the visions, the ones where you dreamed of something you really cared about and wanted to do. That part of you, your true heart's desire, your real deep truth, the one that you would do if you could do it, ... If only you could do whatever you want to do. Well, it's time to actually start taking seriously those answers. It's time for people to understand we've been deeply, deeply programmed the wrong, backwards way. And actually, the whole thing's about that. It's about your becoming and discovering and remembering of self. We become shattered and lost and scattered. We're supposed to go in a process like a scavenger hunt of finding it. We usually find it through the wind, the animals, the trees, the seasons, the songs, the holidays, love, relationships, mirrors. Mirror world, mostly made of water. Here we are, air beings made of spark and fire, coming down to mate the earth. Earth, air, fire, water meets in center, and there we alchemize the medicine wheel. And surprise, oh, we've got a message. We got a message that only each one of us can have. We have something so important that maybe you just have to pull it out of your throat because we need a new story, people. Ace of Feathers. We have the need for a sanctuary for all the swifts to fly home to as they migrate, as they do, and hundreds of birds swarming into chimneys and hollowed out stumps made by fires. These sanctuaries are made by change, and they do desire a safe place to rest and recover while dreaming and gleaning and remembering all the messages in the heart, in your heart, that wanted you to listen to a true calling of the heart. Something that you love. Joy is the key. It is the lead. It is the need. We need a new story. So what would you like it to be? Do you remember all of your deep callings and yearnings? As much as we're gleaning waters, we're gleaning spirit and fires. Into the night and into the dark, the artist of keys finds their authority with spirit. Create, create, love in the destruction. Create, create, love in the destruction. Create, create. Recovery is a road of renewal, of fertility, non-linear rituals of fertility, and don't we know it? Yes, we do. And so we can stop and listen to nature. It's really important to stop time if we want sanctuary to have dreaming. If we want sanctuary, it's right there in that mortar and pestle and in the flowers and in her closed eye and her third eye there, listening to silence, held in silence. So protected and safe through her third eye. She wants the gate. She goes through her mortar and pestle. She holds one hand in the other. She enters the quiet of the flowers. In the ancient temple there, she sees the river of creation through that eye, through that safe space. It's inside. So don't get isolated, but get calm, get peaceful in there. Get knowing who you are. Spend some time in here. Go inside an introvert and actually feel the dreams awakening through you. The ones that brought out the wise part of you that knows what it likes. How about do that, honey? That will fit you. What's your story? What's your new world? What's your new story? The one born out of all that you lost and transformed and grew through. All the challenges you knew. Who did you become when your house burned down? Maybe it unlocked all the fires. All the treasures. It is out of the darkness they come, and you hold the key to your own box. Your own chest of treasures, your trove. Liberation is subjective. Liberation is subjective. This friend, in the end, they had to go their own way and take off the mask. See, we come maybe masked and we put on many others, and the truth is usually they're full of the toxic lies of the past that we inherit, and we are the one needing to pull up anchor and go. We're often the ones needing to come and seek spirit and grow. It may feel wrong to do so, like we're leaving, but honestly, liberation is subjective, and we need to join the birds. If we want safety, if we want to be in that peace of that safe place, we must become it. We must remove the masks. The ones that maybe helped us, but kept us small and ashamed, afraid. The ones that weren't who we are. That's all. There's no need to incriminate anymore. We can be abolitionists while we transform and liberate every form. And actually, the point is that our scars are becoming birds. So whatever that means for you, our scars are becoming birds and our masks are lying on the ground. What is that for you? I would recommend journaling about it for the next few months and taking some time to stop and dream. I think there's something beautiful that's only you that can create it. It must be you in the dark, singing your little spark awake. Oh, little one, the recipe for your success has begun. Oh, don't you want to know the sweet little dreams that grow inside your warm, cozy kitchen? Oh, little one, you were born to shine like a sun in a kitchen. Don't fear the mundane, just lean into the spiritual everywhere. It's only in our heads that we feel trapped. There actually is a really powerful moment where we get to actually understand. It's where we put our focus. And animals, trees, the breath, they don't forget. In case we forget or get too far away, just return to them. And also, we're here to make music, because you know what I learned today? In an old story from the Irish ancestors of Pine, that there are I'm gathering myself. There are beings on the other world. Okay, there are beings in the other world that co-create this world with us. And as I am talking about spirituality and waters, I really need you to know that other world, and the veils, well, Scorpio season's open to going into the darkness, and it's at that place, that cusp of half and half. Well, the veil is there of half spirit, half physical, half visible, half invisible. And part of that's us and our bodies, including our emotional bodies. They're invisible. So when we're talking about waters, we're talking about our feelings. We're talking about that gives everything its experience. And we do have this sense of the need to understand what our relationship is in that collaboration between the spirit world and the physical, the human. The ancestors had stories, many, 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 just to try to navigate this conundrum, this ongoing labyrinth of a question, of wandering through in a land of forgetting, because we do go through a veil of that and we forget all this stuff, but we have the remembering in various ways. It remembers through us the dream, and our bodies know, and we do have practices of knowing. There is a relationship we need as humans to claim with the land, with the unseen, with the non-human, let's just say, that with the spirit world. They can't make music. They can't make music. The horses are so beautiful. They make so much medicine. Or the elephants, right? Or the dogs. Oh my God. The dogs. And, the cats. I love the medicine of the animals. The birds. So many birds. Oh, wow. These are the creatures I see and I stop and I receive. They are our medicine. We have co-evolved with them and the plants, and they do heal us all the time. They have medicine for certain pieces of us that are lost and sick. And that's how it's made. Everything is backwards here, though. We've been trained backwards. We've been taught, you're sick and don't mess it up. If you got a sick day, it's your fault. And then they guilt you and they condemn you and stuff and gaslight you. Actually, I believe it's opposite. We are sick and we're here as a healing ritual. And so it's natural and normal to get sick a lot. And there's a lot of ways we get sick. And there's a lot of information in there. It's called being psychic. You need to be with the sick, and with psyche, who learns and looks in the dark that way. We can be an experience and learn. That's what we're here for. So what I see, because the other world and even the animals and plants that do work with us as our lovers, as our collaborators, our amazing twin of the unseen and non-verbal, non-human, they can't play music. And this really struck me because as we have all this creative energy and potential in its own undoing at this cusp of reflection and renewal and rebirth coming up here, right around in the spring, there around Imbolc, and then around spring equinox, is really going to accelerate. We are preparing. This is like a gap. So you know how I collected my thoughts? It took 30 seconds? I gapped pretty hard. I'm a weirdo, okay? I have these windows of consciousness that come whole thoughts, and I had to... Anyways, we're doing that for a few months. And then in the spring, we're going to be really, at the beginning of the year, we're really going to be going off on a new road. And it is the road of, let's do things better for everyone. How about this is more fun? Let's create a radical system of care that's so enjoyable. That's going to be a shared obsession. And actually, part of that is, let's all learn a music and play it and dance and sing every day. Let's remember that's number one. Number one, we just need our art back. We need to be expressing spirit. We need to sing. We are the musicians. The other world that we work with, they can't make music. We pray and communicate to them most and best with music. They understand our heart's desire and they feel that, but it's music that runs under the creeks, and it's music that comes up in the wells, and it's music in the winds, and it sings back to us everything we've sung into it. And it's music that weaves the worlds, and we are musicians and conductors of music. This is something to pray with, and when I speak of the waters and us being in a reinventing time with them, pray. Pray with the sacred waters, stories of newness, of becoming, of undoing, of anything that you subjectively liberated into and with and from. Bring about the transmutation, because it will be birthing you and rebirthing you. You could say we've broken our waters, and all winter here will be in a great contraction and labor. And in the spring, we'll be born into a much more fiery, airy time for quite a while that will be a lot more harmonious and just set up in a way where it very efficiently takes care of everyone's needs in a way that everyone collectively enjoys and is empowered by more. Sure, it doesn't seem like that in the world now, does it? This is the world of undoing, though, and it's kind of extreme near endings. It's called backlash. Even at the ends of a lot of lives, people will rear their head up and go, wow, all of a sudden have amazing recovery and be lucid for like a day or an hour or whatever. And that's a sign they're about to die. It means death is very close when you see it rear its head like that. I traveled one time to see some pyramids from the Mayans in Central America. And the tour guide was this amazing artist who went around and showed us how about 75% of the statues in that monument were created in the last 50, 40 years of the collapse of an empire as a desperate attempt to maintain power. While everything else crumbled and the villages turned on the aristocracy and the environment killed them all because they had lived beyond their means. Their technology had been disrespectful, and they died. But mostly the culture of like, here, at the very end, the aristocracy that lived in the temples, they were building all these gods, to try to hold on to their power. They were shoving monuments into the public space. We don't have any record of the villagers that overthrew them, along with the droughts and their own undoings that overthrew them, because they don't live in structures made of stone. They lived in, the majority of people that served and made the whole thing happen were influenced by and impacted by those people in the stones. And it was neat to see, we still have that. And also that pattern of backlash, and like when you see it getting worse, they're threatened, there's a real change coming. When you see backlash, you're winning, that their undoing is around the corner. And that's been true in huge ways and still is revealing itself. So let me tell you, in the astrology, it does reflect this. And just pause and transmute the pain and the grief for a few months here. And if it does feel extra crazy this week or month, or even for the next few months, in terms of feeling large amounts of emotion, psychic pain, Transmute and release, transmute and release. This is a contraction on the road to rebirth. You are in labor. Welcome, Homo. You are actually merrily going down the stream, and life is but a dream. And you are returning to that, and it is returning to you. So watch it, lean into that. It's medicine, it's art, it's home, it's hope, it's actually real connection. It's everything true love is made with, and music. So get hit by lightning, be with the Pleiades, opening and blossoming like a rose from your own center, and like the center of the heart of the bull that does rule Venus, and in those horns and in the scales, we are held in justice with what just is. And so breathe, because it's breathing you, it's breathing into you. And try to get out of your own way, because it knows you and it's remembering you. So listen to the thoughts and signs and inclinations and inklings, your guides to all the other world of plants and animals and winds that guide you. It's a beautiful other ancestral knowing from the Irish that I learned in combination with that story about music being under everything, including creeks and rivers and everything, and it has to come from people. We sing into it and it sings back to us underneath everything, our music. It's so beautiful. You know what else from this story is that the Irish believe there's 4 winds and each one had a color. And in the story, the west wind's color was dun, and I still don't know what that is. I'm gonna say it's blue. I'm not sure. Maybe brown, actually, because you know where they put blue, a light blue or white is in the south, and then the east is red, where everything quickens and opens and awakens, and in the north, green, I think, dark green. They said if you get stuck in either of these directions and winds too much or colors, and they do have energies and stories with them, they do have natures of sickness and drama, soap opera, they do have natures of movement, character. If you get stuck in one more than the others, you can draw from the one opposite to pull yourself more towards center. So if you get stuck, yeah, just remember to try to remember, right? That way, it's a practice. We're always scattered and lost and tend to get off center. That is usually getting away from who we are and truly are and from what is. So we're trying to get back into knowing ourselves in justice, getting back to what just is. There's a sovereignty there. We're building it piece by piece. Everyone has to add their brick. So what is sovereignty for you? We're going to be working on this as a collective project, and you're going to be digesting everything stolen from you and lost and how that made you who you are and actually gave you a belonging in the revolution, which is being yourself, so you can form a world of sovereignty starting from the center out like a rose that blooms and comes about collectively and individually. It forms brick by brick. We make the Ark of the Covenant. It's a friendship bridge. It's a friendship. It's made by every brick of everyone coming home to their own sovereignty. And I believe that the earth and spirit is dreaming through us. So every night when we do renew, that is the dream remembering us. And it does take up most of our consciousness. Most of our DNA is junk DNA. Most of our brain's dark matter. There's all this empty, the stuff they don't know what it's for. Well, it's receptive and transmuting and doing a lot of feminine, dark things that have been colonized and misunderstood. But we're doing that all the time. Life's been dreaming us, and it's dreaming us still. So don't be afraid too much. Like, this is it has such a deep purpose and meaning, and I am an astrologer and I do read cards because I get messages that are from guides and from my higher nature, and they do communicate in these symbols and signs. Lean into this world. That's how we get through. Lean into the old stories, the power, the tools. And I'll be back here to describe what the planets are doing, to try to transcribe and translate this story on the wheel as we live it in time, and so that we can become more close to with what just is, and that justice of being what truly is real for each one of us, knowing each of ourselves, knowing ourselves, and from that sovereignty building a world of sovereignty in tandem with our own personal liberation. We form a collective one, and that's just how it is. That's justice. And I'm deeply honored to be a healer and a creator with you and joining this really magical process of renewal and rebirth. We came for this, to be here, and we each have our piece, and it does make us who we are. And it is that thrival that makes this moment. So get into this gleaning of the dreaming of who you are and become it. Until then, now next time, bless the bees, bless the bee, be well, all is well. Peace out.